All right, blessings everyone. Okay, so I just want to get right into this. This is a video that was done by EyeSpy, and EyeSpy, oh, what you've done here was just amazing. I was able to receive, and I was able to actually get a confirmation, and yeah, it's getting darker. It's getting darker, and you really need to hold on to your faith. Hold on to what you know to be true. Now, it's really important that you understand in Isaiah 42:16, what I'm going to read here is what we are dealing with today. And it's important that you hold on to this. So, you need God's word. You need to be reminded that we are not alone and that this is His fight. We are protected. And I will bring the blind by the way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they had not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. Well, the time is here. But His Spirit He hath garnished, the heavens His hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are the parts of His ways, but how little a portion is heard of Him. But the thunder of His power, who can understand? And that's what's really important here, is that we need to discern. How can we understand God, His plan, His reasons for what He does when He does it? So here, again, this is just going to be a small clip. This was the findings of EyeSpy. And when I went to go and take a peek and I started to look into it myself, I found a few things that I would like to share along with EyeSpy. Again, this is just being, being at your post, being vigilant, and putting it out there because we can, for now anyway, right? Okay, so I'm going to play this out, and then I'm going to talk as we go along. This was done July 14th, 2020. Okay. Now, I don't believe I was talking about Malevich or the paintings or anything like that at this time. I don't believe so. I may have, but I don't think so. Now, what we're focusing in on is right here is the reflection inside this little black square, which is, a tablet. And so I'm sure this is, what we're looking at right in here. Okay. And of course, we don't need a cameraman because cameras are all over that place, right? So we're looking inside of this. He's replaying it, but it's up close so you can see the original movement. Okay. Well, it's time to put on your seatbelts. So now he's starting to, he's going to clear it up. He's going to sharpen it. Okay. He's going to bring it forward. And it was just amazing in what he did here, that he pulled this out the way he did. Okay. Well, there we start seeing, and as he starts to, clean it up and sharpen it, it's amazing, what I'm looking at here. And again, I can't help, you know, but think of, you know, the first thing I think about, the very first thing I'm thinking about right now at this point is the Two-Face, the one with the mask. If you go back and you read Wikipedia, the movie Inferno in 2016, go down and it starts to you start to read a little bit about the death mask, and what they would do is when the person died, they would make, you know, the casting of the face, and they would wear the face. They would wear that dead man's face. Here it's very similar. This seems to be alive. The eyes seem to be looking at you. There seems to be a little bit of difference in movement of some sort. You know, it just seems to shift a little bit. And then underneath you can see the bottom half here where it's starting to form, and you're starting to see that there is a man underneath this mask. Okay, so I want to bring you here. Remember this? Of course you do. Right? So here we have the demon right here. But I just want to right now just talk about the two faces here. So the other one, the picture, is where the mask is, he's wearing it over his head, over his forehead. And then you see the man at the bottom, where here it's the opposite. You see the flesh here, and then you see the mask itself, and then underneath that mask, like a veil, you see the two eyes, or you see the eyes, you see the nose, you see the chin right here. Okay, so you've got your demon, and then you've got your frog, your eyes, your lips, and then there's the arm here, and it's, okay. So again, demon, two faces, and then you have the upside down frog, which the frog represents water, which I'll be coming back to. Okay, so here, the mask here is the opposite of what we're seeing in this video. Okay, so right away, what's happening with me is I'm seeing this white mask down here, and the first thing I'm thinking about is the Phantom of the Opera, and I saw that when I was a kid when it first came out. I think it was late 30s, 40s. You know, I seen it. It was the original movie, and I just right away I'm thinking Phantom of the Opera, huh? So as I'm watching this and I'm putting it all together, and I'm, you know, putting it and wrapping it around my head, I'm looking at it and I'm going, Phantom of the Opera. And then that's when it hit me, really, and I put it together that it was victory over the sun. Again, going back to Malevich, going back to what Jonathan Kleck did with his ministry, and putting it all into this black square, this blackness, okay, this nothingness, okay? Death, the shadow, you know, in here. So here was, you know, the Phantom of the Opera, and then it was, like I said, the Malevich, his opera was Victory Over the Sun, which was meant that Satan was to steal time. You lose your memory. Like, there's no foundation. Okay, there's no foundation at all. You're floating constantly within that art, in that black frame. So yeah, here it is. Like this, to me, this was, again, Malevich. This was the black square. Victory Over the Sun. We had the two masks, but this one here, it's quite the opposite of what you saw there with Jonathan Kleck. And this beast here, which is a beast, I don't know what to say about that, but this really did, you know, disturb me, because again, we're looking at Jonathan Kleck with the beast. Okay, death, the Phantom of the Opera, Victory Over the Sun. And then we have the water over here, the frog upside down with the two faces. Okay, so I want to try that. So now the next video that, look at that, eh? Now this is the second video that EyeSpy had put out, and he caught something here, and EyeSpy, what you caught here was huge. It's everything that's fitting into what we're looking at right now today. Again, I'm just going to go forward with this. I'm going to play this out, and then EyeSpy is going to show you his findings, what he found in this, and then I am just going to add and share with you, along with EyeSpy, what my findings are, okay, and where it has led me. Okay, so here we go.
Let me guess, digital artifact appears at 153 and on. And what you're going to see is truly amazing. And in this video they just posted, I seen something. And what you're going to see is truly, truly amazing. So what I'm going to do is zoom in here. See this little piece? See this little fabric floating around or whatever it is? Oh, it disappeared. Oh, there it is again. Now watch this. Watch it now. Oh, it disappeared into her forehead and then comes out her eye. And then goes away. Let's watch it again. A little bit closer now. Oh, here it comes. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Whoop. How the hell? That's some crazy stuff. I mean, seriously.
It really is. Okay, it's going to get crazier. All right, so let's go back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you up here. You have to go up here, because what is going on is this thing that EyeSpy had found was that floating fiber. I'm calling it fiber. Okay, and this floating fiber, it seems to have a direction. Once it comes out of her, it goes back to where it came from. So there's some thought here. Okay, so I'm going to play this out. Again, there's a little hand.
See this little piece?
Okay.
See this little fabric floating around or whatever it is? Oh, it disappeared. Oh, there it is again.
All right, so now what I want to do, okay, so I'm going to show you, all right, now this here morphs, okay? It's not just a fiber. There's something going on here, because it leaves a trail as it's going towards her head. It leaves a trail. So whatever is kicking this thing off, right? Okay. And by the way, her eyes, they start to morph with this activity happening around her. It's always the eyes. It's always the eyes and the hands. So keep an eye on this here. I do recommend that you go back to the original, and you can, you know, if you want to discern this or not. This is going to be completely up to you, because where I'm going to go with this is it goes really deep, and I don't want to scare anybody, because this is not what this is about. This is about the truth. This is about the findings that we're finding here, that we're putting out, and we're letting you see what it is that we see without the answers. Okay? We're working on understanding what is happening here. Ready? Because this happens fast. Okay, I'm going to try to stop it, but this is what we're looking at. This is what he sees right here. I clicked it too fast. Okay, it's right here. It leaves a trail. Now, what did I do? Okay, so this is going to leave a trail, and it's aiming for her. Okay, it even disappears at a point, maybe in her hair. I don't know. It leaves a trail. Do you see that? I'm clicking too fast, but you're going to have to do that yourselves. But if you follow that in very slow motion, you will see that there's a direction. It's going, it's kicking off, it leaves a trail, okay, and then it continues, okay, comes out here. Now the thing about this is it's actually going back. I'm not doing this, you know. Computer's doing this all on its own. All right. So there it is. Now, if you look here, again, you're going to have to do this yourselves to find it because I can only do it so much. It's really frustrating. But right up in this area here, you can see there's more fiber, okay? And a lot more of it. That what we're seeing here, what EyeSpy had caught, was only a portion of it. And that portion is going back to where it came from. And that was right here. This thing here is moving. See? And this thing here is going back to where it came from. Okay, so you're going to have to go back, and this would be 53, and you have to stay in that frame of 53 to catch these things. You can't just go 53, see 53, and think that that's all there is to be seen. No, there's a frame. That's a frame, and you got to go inch by inch. It's very, tedious. It really is. But when I have the time, I will, I will do that if I move to do that, and I will. So this is what I'm getting out of it. So like I said, when this thing was leaving her, and playing around in the same area, being in the ship, for crying out loud, they're being morphed. They're morphing. Okay? I mean, again, that's up to you to discern. All right, so what happens after this is that I receive a video from a girlfriend. And it was through our conversation that she sent this to me. And it went viral. Okay. What is wrong with this thing? Apparently, okay, so this thing went viral. So I want to show you this.
Testing them in order to this lab. This is very concerning and not completely under the covers. And so after 2.5 hours, everything was destroyed, of course. And then I thought, well, maybe that was a fluke in a way. Maybe that was just they look synthetic. And then there was one particular, it was a brilliant like blue and royal purple and a yellow and sometimes green. And so these colors appearing, I did not know what that was. After investigating more, a superconducting material can do that with white light being emitted to it. Okay, a superconducting material would be something like an injectable computing system. Anyhow, these fibers were appearing more and more. Some of the fibers had a little cube structure on them. I'm not sure what that was. And also metallic fragments were in there. They were not metallic fragments I'm used to seeing, more exotic. They were very opaque as well.
Okay. So now I want to bring you here. Now this, like I said, this is how it all came together for me.
Mentioned the name Morgellons in her book, but if you look at these Morgellons, who had heard about the Morgellons disease? Half of you, okay. Let's just have a look at them. Nice creatures. This is a German tomato that got some German rain on top of itself. This is real time, yes. Now watch the Morgellon, what he does. He loves us. He's getting excited and he's trying to get close. I don't know exactly what they react on, maybe on infrared radiation. So these are basically, it's mycelium of a certain type of fungus. And this fungus is, first, if you want to look at it, it's airborne. It's not a single fiber here and there. It is glowing under UV light. So if you take a UV lamp at night, you can see those fibers airborne. And there are billions of them. Not every night, but every now and then. You can see them fly around. And these fibers, this fungus is infecting the human body. And with 95% or 99% of the people, nothing special happens. They're just embedded somewhere, and your biology is keeping the fungus population low in your body. They just function as a plasmonic antenna to send out a signal, but you don't get sick from it. You don't get ill. No visible symptoms. So we would guess 100% of the population in Europe is infected. It's not a big deal. It's not dangerous, as long as the body can handle these things. Some of the people cannot handle it. And then the mycelium is starting to grow within the body and starting to multiply. And at a certain point, they are extracted via the skin. And you can see that they have this ability to collect colors. You have blue Morgellons and you have red Morgellons. And nobody knows where these colors come from because they are of technical origin. It's not a natural substance. So you can see them when the skin is opening. You can see them under the microscope if you make a blood analysis. You can see that the blood is infected. And you can let them grow artificially in a petri dish. And if you look at them, you see they're a little bit more complex than a simple...
All right. So let's just stop it there. Well, we see something that's very familiar, don't we? Again, now this is just now starting coming out. Here we have the rings that, you know, this woman was talking about. Okay, here we have it here. Okay, so we have this thing here, right? Okay, he also talks about the colors, but I'm not going to go into it too far. Again, here we have the rings. And he says that what happens here, these colors that they are talking about, is transmitters. Okay, let me hold on there. Okay, so let's just continue with what he has to say here. Again, your rings.
Fungus, they have kind of organs inside. They have little red stem cells of an unknown species that are self-replicating as well. And apparently they produce other structure. This looks like a sporing body. It's like the unit where the mycelium at a certain point is forming a mushroom, a fruiting body. And then from the fruiting body, you would expect the spores for the next generation, if this is a mushroom, if this is a fungus. So this seems to be the containment for the spores, because if you put this into the petri dish, you can see the next generation growing. And other things you find, now it's getting fringe, it's really getting fringe, is fragments of insect skin being extracted from a Morgellon victim. So something makes these, something from this disease is making insect parts or insects grow within the human body. Did I say co-opted insects when we had this NASA paper? We're getting there. To understand what this is all about, at first sight, this is a disease that should be cured. We worked on finding a remedy to cure Morgellons disease. It's easy. You don't even need to fight the Morgellons. You just need to re-establish a healthy environment within the human body. Take out the acids, take out the heavy metals, cure the function of the liver that is irritated by mercury and that is irritated by a disturbed candida environment. This is due to antibiotics. So this goes, in the medical domain, this goes back to vaccinations, to antibiotics, which is completely disturbing our system. And at the end of the line, the Morgellon is kind of trying to save us from all the poisons that are within us. Save us from the acids, save us from the heavy metals by containing them. This is why the body allows them to grow. So this is actually not a disease that is infecting us with bad intentions. Everybody's infected, but the one who has too much heavy metals in the system will show symptoms because he will allow these fungus to replicate and suck in all these heavy metals. Now, if you want to understand the agenda behind, there was a brave lady at Harvard University that made the chemical analysis of these fibers in the nanolab. And she threw out just a number of chemical formulas. I'm not going to name them. And she also analyzed the single color particles that she found in the air, also the color airborne, that then at a certain point is entering the mycelium after it replicated within the human body. And so this is coming to the concept of self-assembling nanobots. Self-assembly means you spray the fiber, it is replicating, you spray the color, and within the human body, the color and the fiber is mounting to a working unit. This is what you call self-assembling nanobot. If you just take the chemical formulas of these colors and put them into Google, something really, really funny happened. I found that in Berlin, there's an American company that has a kind of daughter in Berlin, and they are holding all the patents, world patents for these colors. And if you look at their website, they're very proud of themselves, serving the medical community with these quantum dot liquids, with these quantum dot colors, and with other lab equipment for mainly transhumanistic research. And if you look into they have a long list of publications of people who bought their stuff and used it in the lab. And whenever a publication was coming out of these labs, they just listed the publication on their home website to just to advertise their own products, basically. And if you look at this, you can find all the things connected to the Morgellons disease. you find like large area self-assembled plasmonic photonic crystals. If you go into this publication, you find these hexagonal forms. And if you look for the function, actually this is a thing that is collecting a radio signal and turning the radio frequency into DNA readable light impulses within the body. So this is the reading unit. If you look down there, you have photonic crystal fibers. If you look what they do, it's normally they talk about carbon nanotubes filled with these colors, with these quantum dot chemistry. And the function is to collect light processed by the DNA and turn it into a readable signal. Exactly what Cara St. Louis described in her novel. And if you put the two together, this goes beyond the novel. You get a read-write unit. I can take one person, make him angry, read out his anger, digitize it, put it on an antenna, and address 100 people that are not angry. And if they have this biology within their system, they will feel exactly the same experience of anger that I read out from the single person. What do I need? Do I need an Arabic Spring? Easy. Just introduce some anger to the system. Easy. Just introduce some anger to the system. Yeah, so this is basically the possibilities that lie within a read-write unit, like a tape recorder. And if anyone has doubts if this is really online, the system, there's another Morgellon victim in the United States. She just calls herself Young. And she had one of these hexagonal photonic plasmonic crystals coming out of her skin here. And she put it under the microscope and caught it while working. So this was the first view on the particulate. It's not perfectly shaped in the hexagonal form, but you can see at least the angles at certain points. And this thing is controlled by microwave. Now there are a few more aspects of this Morgellon disease that are a little bit strange. Morgellon victims have this sensation of insects crawling through their body. It's sometimes the disease is called delusional parasitosis. And the doctors say this is pure madness, and normally what they give is psychopharmaca. I guess to get the people quiet.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it here. And I have to admit, you know, I'm a little shaken by this message and the things that this man has said, you know, and I really believe that everything that needs to be said about this man would be in Isaiah 42:16. And I will bring the blind by the way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. By his Spirit he hath garnished the heavens. His hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are the parts of his ways. But how little a portion is heard of him, but the thunder of his power, who can understand? So with that, I'm just going to break away and just say that I'm just going to say real quick that I do see all the symbology that goes around this man, that the red, the colors, everything. I do see a lot of that. And that's just another topic, and I'll be going into that if necessary a little later. But again, it was just how everything led up to this point here and going into all of this concerning this, what you call squid. Okay, so with that, again, Until next time, no fear, be love, and give hope. Thank you, Jesus.